Greetings to everyone, especially to our research advisor, Dr. Joanne O. Barajas, for guiding us with this research. To our beloved College of Dean Melvin Crisostomo, thank you for always supporting the college students. And also to Mr. John Clark Ramirez, we are thanking you in advance for spending time with us today in our research presentation. We are the Group 5 and here are the presenters.
Good afternoon. My name is Mary Grace Guba.
I am Daimi Ribas.
I am Maika Madja, and we are from the Bachelor of Elementary Education, 3rd year, Section 2.
Our research study is entitled Digital Literacy for College Students, Basis for Enhancement Program. I would like to present my fellow researchers, Cibrieros Micaela, Colarte Daniela, De La Isla Johnson Carl, yours truly, Gubak Mary Grace, Madya Maika, Malikdem Georgie Ann, Marga Nikki Ananda, Radulia Jake, and Rivas Deme. The first part of our research presentation is the introduction. Digital competency plays a key role in people's social, educational, and occupational lives, especially now that we are facing pandemic since 2020 up to present. The students' way of learning modality changes from traditional face-to-face class to modular, online, blended, and others. Many students entering educational setting make learning meaningful by using digital devices in digital environment. According to Yamada Rice 2011 and Patter 2012, pointed out that teachers and school administrations have a significant role in preparing the future generation of a rapidly changing global society. With that being said, a failure in handling and managing digital and technological tools may lead students to risk such believing in fake and invalidated information and involvement in cybercrime. The European Commission 2016, on the other hand, recognized digital competency as an essential foundation of lifelong learning. They argued that digital literacy is not all about ICT skills, but they need to embrace the logical collaboration and artistic way of using new technologies for functional and societal inclusion. In the Philippines, the primary objective of this spiral curriculum is to develop the students to become scientifically, technologically, and environmentally literate. For our conceptual framework, it is contained of input, process, and the output. The input is the extent of digital literacy of students according to their age and sex. The process is the gathering of data using questionnaires and analysis of data with the use of different statistical treatment. Lastly is our output, which is the enhancement program. We have 5 SOP. The first one is the demographic profile of respondents in terms of sex and age. Second SOP is the extent of digital literacy in terms of 6 domains, which are as follows: access of evaluation of information, utilization and management of information, media analysis, creation of media products, effective application of technology, and the interaction through technologies. The third SOP is the significant difference in the extent of digital literacy of the respondents when grouped according to profile variables. The fourth SOP is the significant relationship among digital literacy variables. The fifth and the last SOP is the enhancement program to be proposed based on the result of the study. With our hypothesis, which is a null hypothesis, there is no difference of digital literacy in the group according to our personal variables. Of course, this research is significant to students, the institution, and the future resources. For students, this study will help the students to know the current level of extent of digital literacy according to the results of respondents' data. They can obtain some ideas and definition on what digital literacy means, how this is important, and how it will help them in studying. Moreover, They can acquire ways on how they can improve their digital literacy given the fact that technology plays a key role in people's life, including education. For future researchers' institution, the study will show the level of digital literacy of college students. It will also recommend things or ways that the school may use to enhance their students' digital literacy or to make interventions. This will help them analyze and evaluate the level of digital literacy of students. This study will also ascertain the importance of having digital literacy in one's learning and performance. It will also contribute to the students' researchers' study in the future, for it will help serve as their references.
I am Daimi Ribas, and we are now in Chapter 3, the methodology. In our research design, this study used a descriptive survey research design with survey questionnaire as the main instrument in gathering the required data. The present study surveyed the extent of digital literacy of college students. The quantifiable information can be utilized for statistical inference on the target audience throughout the gathered data analysis. The use of survey enables the researchers to collaborate with diverse respondents with comparatively minimal expenditures easily. A single instrument can measure numerous variables. And in our population and sampling, here in City University of Pasay, the population of third-year students of Bachelor of Elementary Education is 82, in which 100% or 82 students were used as subject in data gathering, limited only to the third-year students of Bachelor of Elementary Education students. In our instrumentation, the researcher utilized a modified instrument from the study, International Journal of Technology and Education by Hazel Baterna et al. On 2020. The first part, consisting of 2 items, is for the sex and age of the respondents, and the second part are divided into 6 domains of digital literacy, which are follows as access and evaluation of information, utilization and management of information, media analysis, creation of media products, effective application on technology, and interaction through technology. Every domain consists of 5 statements. Overall, there are 30 items to measure the extent of student digital literacy. Our participants are all BE-Ed third-year students. Later on, we administer the Google form consisting of our survey questionnaire by sending it to the respective president of each section. Afterward, we collect the data according to the result of respondents' answer and analyze it using different statistical tools. In our SOP1, we use the frequency and percentage used to determine the respondent's demographic profile, whereas percentage, frequency, and the number of respondents. Next, in SOP2, we use the mean and standard deviation to determine the respondent's perception in digital literacy. The formula shown is for getting the weighted mean, where weighted mean, weights assigned, frequency of each option, a sum of all weighted scores obtained by sample, number of respondents. Next formula you see in the screen is for getting the standard deviation, where population standard deviation and the size of the population, xi or each value from the population, and population mean. And the third statistical treatment that we use is the ANOVA to determine the significance and difference between the variables, where F is ANOVA coefficient, MST or mean sum of squares due to treatment, MSE or mean sum of squares due to error. Lastly, we use variable and Pearson R to determine the relationship among the digital literacy, where Pearson R, correlation coefficient, sum of square or the sum of squared deviations, and then sum of squares of variable x, and sum of squares of variable y, and sum of the products of x and y. The scope and limitation of the study focus on the level of digital literacy among third-year BE-Ed students of City University of Pasay. The collection of data was conducted to 100% The total population of third-year BEd of City University of Pasay, academic year 2021 to 2022. The survey questionnaire used consists of skills limited to the 6 domains of digital literacy. Going to Chapter 4 of our research containing the results and discussion, the Table 1 shows the categories where responded are grouped according to the age and sex under age. We have 20 years old and below with a frequency of 14, equivalent to 17.7% of the respondents, and 21 to 23 years old with a frequency of 54, equivalent to 17.7% of the respondents. And next is the under the sex. We have the male with a frequency of 8, equivalent of 9.76%, and female with a frequency of 72, equivalent to 90.24% of the respondents. Both categories got a total frequency of 100 and 100 of percentage. The first 5 statements are under the domain access and evaluation of information. First, access of science information efficiently and effectively got a mean of 3.20 and a standard deviation of 0.66. And second, evaluate scientific information in credible website sources got a mean of 3.17 and a standard deviation of 0.66. And then the third is the access of science information credible website sources got a mean of 3.32 and a standard deviation of 0.68. Fourth, protects own devices and understands online risk and threats with a mean of 3.46 and a standard deviation of 0.63. Fifth, spread science-related news, content, and resources proactively got a mean of 3.24 and a standard deviation of 0.71, and all of the 5 statements falls under the same verbal interpretation of satisfactory. As a result, the domain access and evaluation of information got a mean of 3.28 with a standard deviation of 0.53, and the verbal interpretation is satisfactory. Number 6 to 10 are under the domain utilization and management of information. Number 6, the use of information accurately and creatively for the current issues and problems is in science got a mean of 3.35 with a standard deviation of 0.71. Number 7, manage the flow of scientific information from a wide variety sources got a mean of 3.21 with a standard deviation of 0.70. And number 8, apply a fundamental understanding of the ethical and legal issues surrounding the access and use of information got a mean of 3.35 with standard deviation of 0.65. Number 9, manipulate and store scientific information and content for easier retrieval got a mean of 3.06 with standard deviation of 0.71. And number 10, share with others the location and content of information found regarding science and development got a mean of 3.10 with standard deviation of 0.81. All of the 5 statements falls under the same verbal interpretation, satisfactory. For the utilization and management information domain, it got a mean of 3.21 with standard deviation of 0.57. Its verbal interpretation is satisfactory. Number 11 to 15, statements are all under the media analysis domain. The results are shown in the table presented. For number 11, understand both how and why media messages are constructed for scientific research purposes. Got a mean of 3.39 with a standard deviation of 0.72. And statement 12, examine how individuals interpret messages differently. Got a mean of 3.28 with standard deviation of 0.65. And on the statement 13, examine how values and points of views were included and excluded, get a mean of 3.26 with a standard deviation of 0.68. And statement 14, examine how the media can influence beliefs and behaviors regarding issues in science and technology, got a mean of 3.38 with standard deviation of 0.62. The statement 15, Apply a fundamental understanding of ethical and legal issues surrounding media analysis, got a mean of 3.23 with a standard deviance of 0.67. All statements fall under the same verbal interpretation, which is satisfactory. For the media analysis domain, it got a mean of 3.31 with standard deviance of 0.54 and its verbal interpretation is satisfactory. And number 16, statement utilizing the most appropriate media creation got a mean of 4 with standard deviation of 0.87. Number 17, statement utilize effectively and most appropriate expressions and interpretation in diverse multicultural environments got a mean of 3.26 with standard deviation of 0.66. And number 18, statements create a science-related content in different formats including multimedia, got a mean of 3.20 with standard deviation of 0.73. And number 19, statement express creatively through digital media and technologies, got a mean of 3.35 with standard deviation of 0.76. Statement number 20, modify, refine, and mash up existing resources to create new, original, and relevant and knowledge in science, got a mean of 3.21 with standard deviation of 0.75. Statement number 16, verbal interpretation is very satisfactory and the remaining four statements from 17 to 20 are all satisfactory. For the creation of media products, the mean is 3.40 with standard deviation of 0.62. Its verbal interpretation is satisfactory. Statements number 21 to 25 are under the effective application of technology domain. Statement number 21, use of technology as a tool to research, organize, evaluate, and communicate information in science, got a mean of 3.57 with a standard deviation of 0.63. And statement number 22 is digital technologies, communication tools, and social networks to appropriate process science information for the benefits of science, got a mean of 3.56 with a mean of 0.67. Statement number 23, applying a fundamental understanding of the ethical and legal issues surrounding the effective application of technologies, got a mean of 3.37 and with a standard deviation of 0.69. Statement number 24, use technologies and media for teamwork, collaborative process, and co-construction and co-creation of resources, knowledge, and content in science, got a mean of 3.48 with a standard deviation of 0.69. Statement number 25, become aware of cultural diversity aspects and to be able to protect self and others from possible online dangers, got a mean of 3.48 with standard deviation of 0.71. And statement number 21, 22, 24, and 25 falls under the verbal interpretation, very satisfactory. While statement number 23 is the only statement with verbal interpretation that is satisfactory. Overall, for the effective application of technology domain, got a mean of 3.49 with a standard deviation of 0.59. Its verbal interpretation is very satisfactory. Number 26 to 30 are under the interaction through technology domain statement, and number 26, interact through a variety of digital devices and applications, got a mean of 3.46 with a standard deviation of 0.67. Statement number 27, understand how digital communication is distributed. Statement number 27, understand how digital communication is distributed, displayed, and managed for scientific purposes, got a mean of 3.45 with a standard deviation of 0.59. Statement number 28, understand appropriate ways of communicating through digital means, got a mean of 3.50 with standard deviation of 0.63. And statement number 29, adapt scientific communication modes and strategies to the specific audience, got a mean of 3.26. with standard deviation of 0.62. And statement number 30, now about citation practices and to integrate new information into existing scientific body of knowledge, got a mean of 3.41 with a standard deviation of 0.70. For statement number 26, 27, 28, and 30 have the same verbal interpretation, very satisfactory, while statement number 29 is the only statement with verbal interpretation that is satisfactory. Overall, the interpretation through technology domain got a mean of 3.42 with standard deviation of 0.53. Its verbal interpretation is very satisfactory. Under SOP2, here are the analyzed data collected. The table will show the extent of the respondents' digital literacy as a whole. This data is presented according to their rank from highest to lowest. First ranking is the effective application of technology with a mean of 3.49 and standard deviation of 0.59. And second in ranking is the interaction through technology domain with a mean of 3.42 and standard deviation of 0.53. Third is the creation of media products with a mean of 3.40 and a standard deviation of 0.62. And fourth is the media analysis domain with a mean of 3.31 and standard deviation of 0.54. And fifth is the access and evaluation of information domain with a mean of 3.28 and a standard deviation of 0.53. And 6 is the utilization and management of information with a mean of 3.21 and a standard deviation of 0.57. All of the 6 domains of digital literacy have the same verbal interpretation, which is satisfactory. Now, for the extent of digital literacy as based on the 6 domains, it has a mean of 3.35 and a standard deviation of 0.50. Its verbal interpretation is satisfactory. Going to SOP3, the difference of respondents' digital literacy when grouped according to their demographic profile. We use one way, ANOVA, to test the difference in terms of ages. We obtain the F value, P value. In terms of sex, we use T-test, independent samples to know the difference. We obtain the value of T and the value of P. Since the result of the categories under age is significant, we use A post hoc. Test for age. The first group is 20 years old and below and 21 to 23 years old. The difference mean is 0.52831. Standard deviation error of 0.13874. And the p-value is equal to 0.001. Then the result of the relationship is significant. The second group that consists of 21 years old and below and 24 years old and above have p-value of 0.058, meaning there is no significant relationship, same as the last group that consists of 21 to 23 years old. And 24 years old and above have a p-value equals to 0.659. There is no significance as well.
For the SOP4, we use person-hour correlation to test the significant relationship among digital literacy. All variables are tested using the person-hour correlation. First variable are the two domains, the axis of evaluation and utilization and management of information. The person R value is 0.780, and the second variable are the axis in evaluation of information and media analysis. The person R value is 0.727, and the third variable are the axis in evaluation of information and creation of media products. The person R value is 0.718, and the fourth variable are the axis in evaluation of information and effective application of technology. The person R value is 0.667, and the fifth variables are axis in evaluation of information and interaction through technologies. The person R value is 0.737. The six variables are the utilization and management of information and media analysis. The person R value is 0.721, and the seventh variables are the utilization and management of information and creation of media product. The person R value is 0.789, and the eight variables are the utilization and management of information and effective application of technology. The person R value is 0.719, and the ninth variables are the utilization and management of information and interaction through technology. The person R value is 0.719, and the tenth variables are the media analysis and creation of media product. The person R value is 0.720. The 11th variables are the media analysis and effective application of technology. The person R value is 0.708, and the 12 variables are the media analysis and interaction through technologies. The person R value is 0.721, and the 13th variables are the creation of media products and effective application of technology. The person R value is 0.775, and the 14th variables are the creation of media products and interaction through technologies. The person R value is 0.746, and the 15th variables are the effective application of technology and interaction through technologies. The person R value is 0.794. All variables are tested using the p-value of 0.00, and all of the variables have significant, strong, and positive correlation. For the SOP5, we have 10 activities that will serve as the enhancement program. The first one is to post or advertise on social media pertaining to digital literacy. This will possibly be held in the third week of August. The people involved are the third-year student and CHED faculty. This activity is to raise awareness about the importance of digital literacy. The expected output is at least 95% of the students will attend. So here is the format. So first is the activity, the duration, the person involved, and the objective, and last is the outcome. And for our recommendation, we recommend that the proposed program about digital literacy could also be established to assess the third-year BEd student to attain higher digital literacy. And the second is third-year BEd student may likewise utilize digital devices and data effectively and responsibly toward developing digitally literate citizens. And the third is future teacher might also use scrapped digital literacy rubrics to measure student performances in a very digital classroom. And the fourth one is students should be willing to participate and apply what they learn to boost their digital literacy skills.